And welcome to Reliving My Youth. My name is Noel Fogelman. My guest this week is the very talented Bill Smitrovich. You can't even flip through the channels without seeing some of Bill's amazing work on TV. I mean, life goes on. He played the father, Drew, for 4 seasons. Guest starred on a very memorable episode of Deep Space Nine, playing Webb. We talk about that. Hands down, it's one of the best episodes of Deep Space Nine of all time. All the other amazing shows that he's guest starred on. He was in The Last Ship, Grey's Anatomy. I mean, the list goes on and on. On the silver screen, the 10 movies, Independence Day, Nick of Time, Manhunter, The November Man. I mean, we can go on and on. Air Force One. Bill, such a nice guy. And he grew up in Connecticut. Actually grew up not too far from where I live right now. We talk about that as well. And just talk about being quarantined and, you know, the state of the world right now. Super nice guy, and I hope you enjoy my conversation with him. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
I'm doing good. I'm just a morning here getting ready for the day, you know?
Right, yeah. Is your day pretty much same as yesterday, same as before?
Basically, I try to get out and play a little golf every now and then.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm going to be doing that shortly. Let me close this blind. And that's what I do basically on my spare time is go out and play golf and look for a job.
Right.
No, enjoy myself. I've got a granddaughter who's 5 that I love. And we're all here under the same roof. So throughout the whole pandemic and more. So we're good. And, you know, most actors are used to downtime like this, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So we're kind of accustomed to being out of work, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I know.
There's a lot of people out there that are suffering and suffering badly, and I really, my heart goes out to all those folks who are struggling financially, health-wise, have had this coronavirus turn their lives upside down and backwards again. You know, it's affected all of us in some ways, but none larger than the poorer communities and people that are living paycheck to paycheck, that don't have health insurance. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And my heart bleeds for those people, and I hope that things will change. I hope this is a big wake-up call for everybody. I mean, the coronavirus, it kind of demonstrates what we can do with and what we can do without, and what is important to us and what's not so important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, like everyone else, I've been home since, you know, over 2 months now with my, 3 kids, my wife. We decided to get a puppy during this time. So, I mean,
there you go.
yeah, it brings you and the family together. You take walks, you talk to people, your neighbors that maybe you wouldn't have spoken to before this. So it's
Right.
it brings, a sense of
There's another. That's one of the benefits. You know?
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
that after this, it stays that way. You know, people just don't.
Yeah.
Driving past your house, not looking, not waving. You know, it's the little things. You know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It is the little things. And, you know, we've kind of gotten away from that. We've become so involved in, a lot of people are either involved in the market, they're so like, oh, I'm making so much money. And then it disappears, or, and then other people who never had the money.
Right.
And don't invest in the market, don't have the money to invest in the market. But the country was built on the shoulders of these people.
Right.
And all the profits that, all the corporations make are on the shoulders of the American working people. So my heart goes out to them.
Right. Yeah.
Primarily.
My paying job is I work for Yahoo Finance. So we do like 8 hours of coverage on the website. So the market's doing well now, but it doesn't translate into the economy. And,
Right.
yeah, and which companies are doing better, which are getting bailouts. We can keep bailing out Boeing, but you're not going to bail out the American workers or the
Yeah, how about the bail out the American people? There you go.
do that.
I read something. I don't know about. Everybody throws around numbers like they're facts, but this was supposed to be a fact.
Yeah.
They throw out all the trillions of dollars that we've spent for this recovery, and they said that if they had taken all that recovery money and just gave it to American taxpayers, everybody would get $45,000.
Perfect. And that would help during this time.
That would solve some problems, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Like my wife and I are both fortunate that, she's a teacher, so she's, able to, I guess, quote unquote, teach from home. Not really much teaching going on. She'll admit that.
What does she teach? What grade?
Kindergarten.
What subject? Oh, kindergarten.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So yeah, she's been doing it for years now, and it's kind of hard, especially with the little ones, being on the computer now, and half the stuff that they kind of learned is going to be gone. So a lot of these grades, if who knows if Connecticut's even going to start in the fall, in person, it's going to be a lot of catching up. I feel so.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe everybody skips a grade. What the hell?
Yeah, might as well. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So how long did you live in Trumbull for?
Pardon me?
How long did you live in Trumbull for?
Oh, geez. I lived in almost every city in Fairfield County. I mean, in my time, Connecticut, I was born in Bridgeport and lived on Williams. The Success Village. We had a small little white house on Post Road.
Okay.
And then we moved, lived in Fairfield, the Indian Village on Papora Road.
Okay.
The reservoir off Black Rock Turnpike.
Yep.
And then we moved, and my dad had asthma and was looking for a better job and a more arid, less humid climate. So we moved, and we ended up in Albuquerque, New Mexico for about, I don't know, 3 years or so.
Okay.
And then we decided to move again. He decided to move again. We moved to El Cajon, California, which is, I lived there for about 5 or so years. Loved it there. That was, Southern California in the 50s. It was great. It was 1955 to 61. So it was fantastic. I had a great time there. And then we moved again, moved back to Connecticut.
Right.
Lived on William Street in Bridgeport with my grandmother and my aunt and the whole family and everything. And then my dad got another job. And then we moved to Stratford. And I went to Harding High School when I lived with my grandmother. And then I went to Stratford. We bought a house in Stratford. Went to Bunnell for 2 years. Went to Housatonic Community College.
Right. Yeah.
And then, my dad died when I was 17. I was in high school in Stratford.
Right.
And I decided I was a really good bowler and a very good pool player when I was younger. And I was, in California, I was part of the Southern California Junior All-Star team.
Okay.
And I was San Diego County Junior Match Game champion when I was 15, and I had a 190 average. So it was a big deal when I came out to Connecticut because 10-pin bowling had just started. So I looked like a phenom, right? So I spent a lot of time in bowling alleys and pool halls, and in Connecticut. Met some great people, and who also, we gambled, and people bet on me and blah blah blah. And so when my dad died, I decided to hit the road, and me and a pal of mine, we hustled our way across country, bowling and shooting pool. Took us about a month, and we had a good time in Oklahoma, but that was about the only good time we had.
Right.
And then came back to Connecticut and got a job at Burgundy Corporation in Norwalk. And then I quit that and went to college. And that's when I lived in Trumbull.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been here for, I guess, 13 years now. So yeah, I've been in Connecticut for 20. I started working at ESPN. So I worked in Bristol and lived in Bristol for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And
Bristol, the home of ESPN.
Yeah, and the running
and a bowling alley.
Yeah. The running joke of that is the best view of Bristol is in your rearview mirror. So then when I moved to Stanford,
Right.
Yeah, then we moved to Stanford for about 5 years, and then eventually now, and the whole family's here. It's a nice community, and it's been fun.
Well, you got 3 kids. You got to be in a community. It's
Yeah, absolutely. And then the youngest is 9.
And I'm glad you're getting to know your neighbors.
Yeah. At least one of them I want to know. The other one, nothing to do with.
I hear you. We got one like that in our neighborhood too.
Yeah, they have like a trailer on their lawn. I swear, I think it's like a house for making meth, like in Breaking Bad.
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty bad. But
well, you ought to make friends then.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So, 2 of your roles are kind of coming true during these times. The Last Ship, where you played Eric Dane's father. They had a big pandemic. What's going on now, and then the aftermath. You can kind of point to your guest starring role on Star Trek: Deep Space Nine.
Oh, that seems to be a little bit closer to the pale than this, than the other. Yeah, I mean, that was both were fascinating prophetic looks into the future, and certainly both of them can be so not only thought-provoking, but give you a heads up as to what is possible and what has been possible and what it could create if left unchecked. And now, considering the current administration is dismembering any kind of oversight to what they're doing, and then if you own all the chips and you're not sharing them with anybody, that's what can happen. And it's a horrible thing. It's a disgusting mess, the inequality in this country, and that's where it all arises from. All the fear that's put on us, all the hopes we have, all the hopes people have. I'm pretty lucky. I'm an artist. I took a gamble a long time ago, and in some ways it paid off. It's not easy,
right?
And it goes up and down, and especially when you have a family. I mean, it was very hard. It's very hard to make a commitment when you're young and you're an artist or whatever you're doing, because you don't know what the future holds. And especially, I tell all these, I tell my students and people that I talk to, but it's a selfish game, and not every career or job is as selfish as art form. It's unlike any other art form. And it requires not only your ability to access everything that's inside of you when it's available, but you have to have the ability to not let expectations run your life. But what's happening in the now, in the present, is more important. It's what we're learning now is what we'll take with us in the future whenever that opportunity comes to us. So, we live on in this plane where we're kind of outside of it, looking at the human condition, and I've been doing that for 40 years. And it's some of it's pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you get it, but the relief, the wonderful part of being an actor and an artist is to get to act on these, on your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, what you see around you, and then you can formulate something that someone is giving you into a full three-dimensional character, So it's pretty cool.
Has there been like a character that you just couldn't grasp? And not it was on paper, like, he's an evil guy, but it was just the emotion, just to perform.
I'll tell you, one of the hardest roles I've ever had, excuse me. I did a play with Josh Charles in San Francisco many years ago. It was called A Number by Carol Churchill. A very interesting play. Carol Churchill she's an English playwright who's known for some pretty bizarre plays, but what she's also noted for is writing without punctuation. And she writes in free consciousness. I mean, she's just writing. No periods, no commas. And that is what I had to translate.
Right.
And it was only a 2-character play. It was one act. It was an hour and 20 minutes. And it was the most difficult. I don't think I ever got every line perfect on any night in that during that performance. It was just absolutely impossible for me to do. And I've done 3-act plays. I've done Skin of Our Teeth. I've done The Price. I've done, my God, so many plays where I'm on stage, Frankie and Johnny, constantly. And you don't leave, American Buffalo, which we just did here like a few years ago, won the best production in LA. Thank you very much. Yeah. And Mamet came to see it twice. We like that. But that play, A Number, in San Francisco was so difficult. It was filled with emotion and a lot of intrigue and things of this nature. And it moved very quickly. And Josh had the difficult, but I would say more interesting role in that he played 3 different characters in an hour and 20 minutes, where he made quick changes in blackouts, where we worked it out. It was just incredible. And it was a rake stage. It was very difficult to rake stage. My legs hurt for weeks after that. But it was just, that was it, man. It haunts me, that play. And it's one in which I wouldn't mind having again if they could give me a teleprompter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That doesn't work in the theater, though.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
What's your background? Are you a theater guy? Or are Are you a cinephile,
Like
audiophile,
all the above. I would probably say
video?
no really disrespect to theater, but I haven't seen as many
No.
shows as I should. I think the last show I saw, ironically, was the SpongeBob musical with my kids.
Great.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's no. Hey, it's expensive now to go to the
it is.
theater in Broadway anyway.
Yeah,
But there are plenty of pretty great local theaters around you, and I'd suggest that you support them and take your children to go see Fantastic sometime.
right. Yeah, they. I think the school has taken my kids
And
once a year, and they have,
yeah,
yeah, the in Westport they have the Newman Theater.
uh-huh.
Yeah, and then in
Yeah.
Fairfield the
Oh, it opens up kids' lives. I mean,
yeah.
my granddaughter Iris, they went to go see her first play, and it was just for days. She's talking about it, doing it. But
What
it's
what show was it?
yeah, it's my first love. I mean, I started the theater changed my life, and Arthur Miller changed my life. That was my first equity credit, so that was astounding.
Yeah.
It was a wonderful birth of
Right.
sort of a baptism of fire, I would say.
Is that your first love over like TV and movies?
Pardon me?
Is that your first love over television and movies? Is the theater?
Oh yeah. I love the theater. But nothing like making a good film
Right.
and being on location somewhere. I mean, the last film, great film, made was The November Man with Pierce Brosnan, and we had such a great time together, and in Serbia. And the strange thing was, we started that film on our birthdays.
Okay.
We both have the same birthday.
Okay.
And which was odd, and it was fantastic, and we had a great time. I got to I bring my wife over at the end of the shoot and come to the wrap party, and then we stayed there for another 10 days and took a 1,000-kilometer trip through Croatia, which was just fantastic country, and had a great time. And it was a wonderful character. I got to play this kind of duplicitous bad guy. I don't want to, no spoiler alerts. But here, I'll show you. This is a painting that Pierce gave me.
Oh, wow.
After we had wrapped. He's a wonderful artist. And just, my golf trophy I'm very proud of. Yes.
Nice.
Well, anyway, so it was a lot of fun, and then starting with Michael Mann in film and television, that wasn't too bad either. So
Crime Story was
I've been pretty blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you
ever seen Miami Vice, the pilot?
Years ago. That was my grandmother's favorite show. Was Miami Vice.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe you just said that. My ears are like melting now.
Yeah.
My grandmother's favorite show.
Yeah. I used to watch with her too. It was great. The music on that show was fantastic. And then
it was fantastic. Yeah.
With Crime Story though, it only lasted a couple of seasons, unfortunately. But do you think the way it was like kind of serialized kind of like hurt it?
I think we should have stayed in Chicago.
Right. Yeah.
Both Dennis and I felt we should have stayed in Chicago. But the story went to Vegas. There was nothing we could do about it. That was the Bible of this show.
Right.
And I thought some of our Vegas stuff was funny, but it was just an incredible departure from that dark noir feeling that Chicago had in and it was very familiar, the voices and everything, you know. And Las Vegas was, I mean, that was a while ago. So, I mean, you're talking Vegas. They did Vegas a big favor by taking the show there. I mean, if I was, excuse me, but if I was casino owners, I'd get together and say, let's keep the show in Vegas.
Right.
You know, I mean, come on. But we loved it there. Our son was born there. Sunrise Humana Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Shortly after the Giants won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yeah. I'm a Jet fan. So
and then, oh, really?
Yeah.
And I suppose you're a Yankee fan too.
Yankee fan. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Met fan.
Oh, okay.
I was there. I was there in '86. I had season tickets.
Oh, nice.
My buddies of mine, we bought season tickets in '84,
Okay.
and they were losing 100 games.
Right.
And it's like 6 of us went in with 4 tickets. And the next season, they sucked so bad that they changed our seats. They said, "We're going to give you better seats," because they were available.
Right.
So they gave us these great seats looking down the first base line,
Yeah.
and we saw that thing go through Buckner's legs, and man, we just flipped out. It was what a game it was. What a game it was. My God.
You know, that was that was. I mean, I was rooting for
they were
that year. Or
everybody in the world. I don't know. Yeah. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it was in Boston.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny because in New York and Boston, where like I am now, you were in Trumbull, and maybe even like up to New Haven. It's kind of where the New York fandom ends and the Boston fandom begins, because it's a lot of
that's true.
Yeah, so it's a lot of
that's right.
A lot of both fandoms over there. But yeah,
it's rough.
It is, especially when you have the Patriots winning all those years.
Yeah, well, when I was younger, the Giants used to work out in Fairfield, and all the players used to go to Surfside.
Okay.
There's a club there, and they're hanging out all the time. It was great.
Right.
Go there for drinks. There's the Giants.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, it was a great time of year. Kind of time to be alive there.
Right.
A lot happening. A lot happening.
Yeah. How often do you get back to Connecticut?
Cool.
Yeah. How
Not
often?
enough.
Not enough. Yeah.
Not enough. My sister Vicky, she's lives in Stratford.
Okay.
And right near around Sikorsky.
All right. Yeah.
And she's been living there, for a very, very long time.
Right.
And I have a nephew there, Timmy Fennell, and my uncles. Some of my uncles and aunts lived there. Some of them passed. Missed them. And it's I got a lot of buddies. I've got buddies from high school,
right,
from both high schools,
mm-hmm.
and we've had 50-year reunions, and we've all gone on to interesting things in our life. I mean, who would think that I was going to be playing football with a guy who speaks fluent Mandarin now and has a doctorate in Chinese studies? I mean, who would think that?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's guys that died in Vietnam, and a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah.
At University of Bridgeport, took me. I had to work my way through college, so it's one year I had to take off. It took me 6 years.
Okay.
But
got it done.
I got lucky one year. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I got lucky one year. I worked at Diamond Shamrock Chemical Company.
Okay.
They made plastic film. They were in Lordship. And I worked there for 6 months, and it was exactly the cutoff for unemployment.
Oh.
So I managed to get unemployment and go to school full time.
Perfect.
Don't tell anybody.
I won't, I promise. Yeah.
One of the best years of my life.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So how did the journey into theater begin?
Oh, goodness. University of Bridgeport. Um, I was kind of horsing around in theater. Somebody asked me to do a little play, and yeah, I kind of liked it. It was The Investigation by Peter Weiss, and I played this Nazi German officer, and I had a kind of a speech I got up and did, and I kind of got into it because it was, I said, well, what did this guy think? This German officer, how would he respond to this? And it started me thinking about all kinds of things. So I did it. It was fun, and then we did it. Somebody else needed to be in another one, so I did it. And then somebody said, "Oh, you ought to go down and read for Lenny." And I thought they meant Lenny Bruce because I was
Right.
a big Harlan, Lenny Bruce, you name it, Red Fox, Rusty Warren. So I go down there and they hand me Of Mice and Men. And I'd never read, wasn't a big reader, and I'd never read any Steinbeck before, let alone Of Mice and Men. So are you familiar with the play, the story?
The story, yes. I never read it though.
Okay, so you're familiar with the story.
Yeah.
So George and Lenny are itinerant farmers, and they're trying to make a living during the Depression. And Lenny's challenged, mentally disabled. And so I read this story, this beautiful story about these two men. And it's the first time I'd wept at a piece of literature in my life. I couldn't believe it. It moved me to tears. And I went, wow, what is this guy thinking? Wow, and let me preface this with, I was a minor in special education at the time. So this character kind of blew up in my head. And it was there that I had this epiphany, no doubt, playing this character. And I went into audition for it, and I was very much into the role. And I'm reading with the woman who played Curly's wife, who I break her neck at one point, but I'm stroking her hair, and I'm doing the scene, and they started laughing. And I got very, very upset. I got emotional, and I said, what are you laughing at? This is a beautiful human being here. You have no reason to laugh at this. You shouldn't be directing this play. I got very irate. Yeah. And they said, no, we're not laughing at you. We're laughing because we just found our Lenny.
Wow.
And I was blown away.
Right.
But we had a guest director at the time from the Sterling Barn Theater in Stamford. His name was Al Pia. He's a wonderful guy, since passed, taught at Stanford High School, started many career there. And he was marvelous. And he taught me a lot about theater and stage movement and character work and how to break down a script. And they gave me the Best Actor award that year. And we had a lot of press, and we went on to do the play at Al's Theater in Stamford. And I met Morris Karnofsky, who was a great member of the group theater back in the WPA years with Harold Klorman and Clifford Odets and John Garfield and a lot of people like that. So he taught me some things, and I was in one of his plays at the Sterling Barn Theater. And then a buddy of mine tells me about, he had gone to Smith College in Northampton, Massachusetts for graduate school. Come in. And I said, well, I don't have the grades for Smith, this college like Smith. He said, no, you just come down and you audition, and you see me, you can get in. So I went and auditioned, and they gave me a scholarship for 2 years and a stipend of.
Are you talking to yourself?
I'm talking to somebody on mine. You want to say hello?
Hello.
No. You want me to turn the camera around?
No.
Okay, here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, okay. All right. So I went to Smith, and it was that was in '74, and Morris was a great help. And then I met, I spent 2 great years at Smith and got my master's and started a theater company with some friends of mine there who were also graduate students. And we did some theater in Northampton for a while, and I had glorious years there, spent 5 years there, 3 years after I was done. Just loved it there. And but we took a play of ours into New York, and I said, hey, if I'm going to give it a shot, I'm going to do it now. And if it doesn't happen, if nothing happens in 10 years, I go back to Northampton and go back to bartending or something. I didn't know what I was going to do. So we did, and did the play. It was called The Elephant Man. It wasn't Elephant Man, the one that you're aware of, but before that, before the guy had even written it, we were writing The Elephant Man. So we did it in Worcester Group on Worcester Street. Performance Garage Day. Those people were there. Elizabeth Comp, Willem Dafoe came later. But so I stayed in town, and then 2 years later, right away, I started taking classes with Jack Garfine at the Harold Clurman Actors and Theaters Lab, and met Jack Garfine and studied with him. And he introduced me to Arthur Miller and gave me and Dana Delaney, who was in my class, both an opportunity to audition for this new play that was being directed by Dan Sullivan, who I've been directed by now for that first of 3 times. But Dan is one of the best, if not the best, Broadway director now in the business, and it was quite an event. So I went to got my equity card, went to Spoleto Festival with the play to premiere, the world premiere. I was understudying every male role in the show. There were 9 male roles. No, 7 male roles, about 16 different characters, because everybody played multiple characters except for the lead. Well, the lead went on opening night with 103, 104 temperature.
Wow. His
name was Peter Evans, and he was coming down with AIDS. And Peter didn't go on for the next 2, 3, and 4th performances, which were Saturday and a Sunday 2 performances.
Right.
I went on for him. And it was a success. I mean, I knew every word of that play. I'm so privileged to be there. And I didn't disappoint. And word got out a little bit locally and back to New York. And then when I got back to New York, things started happening a little bit. I was getting bookings that I wasn't getting before. I was getting auditions that I wasn't getting before. And things started to build, And I had a good television commercial career for a while too, so that was helping. And so it worked out pretty good. Then I met Michael Mann, and that was the first time I was recognized on the street.
What was it for, that Atari 2600 commercial? Was that what
No. Right. No. I meant for a television show. No, I was recognized for commercials. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny that you mentioned that. No, the guy was a cab driver, and he was coming back from, something.
Right.
He said, "Hey, you were on that Miami Vice thing. Oh, you were a bad guy. Oh, man." It was fun.
Yeah. But like, what of all like the roles, like the guest starring roles, because you've done a ton of them, like which one is your most memorable one?
Guest star. I'd say Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
I mean, that character. I mean, when I did Ted 1 and 2 with Seth,
Right.
first thing he said to me, he says, "You're Webb.
Yeah.
You're Webb." He was he was really taken with that. It's one of the top 10 DS9 episodes.
Oh, without question.
So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I've got these cards too. They made up. Where are they? They made up these cards. Let's see if I can.
Oh, okay, nice.
You see?
Yeah. Those are great. Yeah.
Michael Webb.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'm going to get to Connecticut. I was supposed to come to Connecticut in July to do some kind of autograph show.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if they probably have canceled that. I know they've canceled it.
Yeah.
But I'll get out there, and when I get out there, we'll have a cup of coffee together.
Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great.
Or actually, about a pint.
Yeah, even better. Yeah. So you're probably one of the fortunate ones that you do guest starring role in Star Trek. You don't have to worry about getting made up as an alien, because I've had a couple of guest stars, or who've done the show on,
Right.
Some horror stories about the makeups on that show. So you look. Yeah.
Yeah, I never really spent a lot of time in the chair. Maybe most time 2 hours, I'd say, to do. And then I've done some prosthetics before, where you go to the special effects lab and they put a bunch of stuff on you, and
Right.
and make a mold and do the
Right.
thing. They had to get one. For the for Grey's Anatomy, for my. There was some kind of procedure they wanted to do, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
But I was her psychiatrist, and I thought maybe I was Grey's psychiatrist for one episode, and I was the in-house psychiatrist, and it would have been a nice gig, but it's a closed shop over there.
Okay. Right. Yeah, and you mentioned Ted. It's a laugh out loud movie. When you read the script for your part, where you're interviewing Ted, what was going through your mind? Because some of the lines he had on there were classic about your wife.
Yeah, well, here's how that worked. I knew, I knew that he could say anything he wanted to say.
Right. Of course.
And I had to do what I had to do.
Yeah.
So when I auditioned for the role, I knew that the less I did, the better it would be.
Yeah.
So I tried to do absolutely nothing.
Mhm.
And he was in the next room for Ted 1, and he was coming up with all these lines. He's very facile, and he was coming up with all these lines, and I was, "You're hired."
Yeah.
When I came in to do the audition, funny thing, I do the audition, and he goes, "That's great." He says, "That's fantastic." He said, "That was great. No, I don't need to tell you anything."
Right.
So I walk out, and the casting director comes after me. He goes, Bill, Seth wants to talk to you." I said, "Okay." All right. So I go back in. He goes, "Listen, I just want to tell you, if I had a contract here right now, I'd give it to you." So I kind of knew that was my role.
Yeah.
And so it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun, and didn't have to do much,
Yeah, exactly.
It was, right. I was astounded at the response, and so was Seth, at the response to that scene.
Oh,
He said to me, at 2, he said, I can't keep you out of this movie. I said, great. Do you want to?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, the great rap parties at his house, unbelievable house. Yes, my God.
Imagine, yeah. Yeah. Do you have to audition now still, or is it just people book you because they know what you can?
It's no, I get straight offers more than I audition now.
Right.
But I still audition if I want a role.
Yeah.
There are a lot of wonderful actors out there, and there are a lot of stars who aren't getting the roles they used to get, and now they want mine.
Right. Got to hold them off. Yeah. Yeah. Now, going back, the process of getting Drew for Life Goes On, how much of your background,
Mm.
education, how did that help you getting that role?
Oh, immensely, immensely. I knew what prejudice they were suffering
Right.
from before I got there. I knew what the causes were. I knew some families. I'd worked with at University of Bridgeport. I worked with. I tutored kids, and then I took over a class one day, and then I got a job as it was a work study program at Warner's Bras and Girdles.
Mhm.
Back in the day, they had a company there near Bridgeport, down near there, some Railroad Avenue or something,
Okay.
and they had a heat sealing packaging department, and they let it was great of them. They let a lot of physically and mentally challenged kids, adults. They had a workforce of about 15, 20 people. There were two counselors there. I was one of them, and we would just supervise them and help them with the heat sealing, make sure nobody got hurt, and packaging and things like that. Had a good time. It was when actually there was a twin. There were twins there that we called Heckle and Jekyll.
Mhm.
They were they were always getting into trouble. They were funny, but uh, so when I met Chris and Frank and Marion, his mother and father, it was great. And our audition went very well. Patty and I auditioned together at the same time. So I was doing Frankie and Johnny and the Claire de Lune off Broadway. She was doing Anything Goes at Lincoln Center. And so we never really got to meet before that. But we met at the audition. And we did we did 3 scenes together. And then and they went very well. I mean, I knew what I was doing, she knew what she was doing, and bing, bang, boom, we were done. And it was great. Very, very, very smooth. I think when the executive producers, Michael Braverman, the creator, and I forgot the other guy's name right now, but when executive producers came out, I had to do another scene after she left with the executive producer who had a big beard, right? And he was reading the Corky scenes.
Right.
So he's reading the role of Corky, and I'm working to him. Come to find out later, I'd have to work to a tennis ball. So this kind of helped me. But I was playing, and I felt compelled to reach out at one point, and I touched his beard. But anyway, it went fine, and it was special. It was a special show. It was it's the most gratifying work I've ever done as an actor. I mean, in terms of the value
Right.
that it had for the community and primarily the siblings of these children that are challenged.
Right.
We'd get incredible fan letters from siblings who would say, "I never knew that my brother or sister could do this."
Right.
You know, it was like, hey, they're part of our society. Here they are, and it meant a lot. It was truly something that I'll always be proud of, and I love those people. They're great. I mean, unconditional love. I mean, you go to any Special Olympics event, man.
Right.
If you don't walk out of there smiling and feeling like you're the luckiest person on earth, man, forget about it. It's great. I was on the International Special Olympics Committee when the International Special Olympics was held in Connecticut back, I forget when it was, but I was met with Tim Shriver, but it was terrible. I was working on a movie called The Nick of Time.
Okay, yeah.
With John Badham.
Yeah.
And John wanted to do the film in Hitchcock style,
Real time.
which was start at page 1 and work all the way through the script, page to page, which is unheard of. But it was an homage to him in some ways, but which meant I couldn't go to the games, which really broke my heart. But hopefully next International Olympics somewhere I'll get to, somewhere, hopefully. But I love going, and I support them and play the golf tournaments and whatever I can do.
Yeah. The show was so groundbreaking, and still is today. It just, more people, should watch it. I'm not even sure if it's on any streaming sites or not, of DVDs, but
no. We only made 88 episodes. If we'd made one more year, it would have gone into syndication.
Yeah, that's a shame.
I'm surprised that Warner Brothers doesn't see the value of that and release it. But maybe there needs to be a campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now with all the streaming sites, there's definitely room for that fantastic show. Really.
Yeah, I think I think it'd be great. People ask me about crime stories.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that's on DVD, I think. But yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because life goes on. That was
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think that's up against 60 Minutes, right, at one time, and which always got the big
4 years.
Yeah,
that's right. That's 4 straight years. We were the only show to come in second place to 60 Minutes for 4 years in a row.
Wow. Yeah, and obviously that was before DVRs, where you can record the show and watch it later.
Right. Right. Big difference. Yeah, big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember those years.
Exactly. Exactly. A lot of shows I watch where people would just call always the same time every night, and it's very frustrating because you're trying to watch a show, you couldn't pause it or anything like that. You gotta just watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. But you obviously played a lot of military men throughout your career. One of them, brief role in Independence Day, and I'm sure you saw. I don't even want to bring this up, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. The despicable tweet that Trump had where he put his face on Bill Pullman to do the speech of.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A few days ago. Yeah. And
I did not know that.
Yeah. And then in the crowd, he had his family and supporters over the people's faces there. It was awful. Bill Pullman responded to it, and it was just unfortunate. But I've been, I know you were part of that movie, albeit a small part, but that's got to be offensive to you, I'd imagine.
Oh, it's offensive to me for many reasons, but paramount above them is what we have for leadership these years. these days, and it's not leadership. We're getting raped, and before, during, hopefully not after.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Well, I'm working on a show with some friends right now. It's called WIN, the WIN Network.
Okay.
It's called the Write-In Network, the Write-In Network. And we are going to be pitching our idea very shortly to create a show to across medias, every media, the cell phones, whatever it may be. But to bring the country together in a unified way to talk about what people want, what they need, why they want that, and why they think they need that. And apart from that will be the first go round season will be Americans getting to know one another and talking about things that matter to them. And then as we go on in our second season, we're going to create a write-in program. And all Americans will be able to contribute ideas, facts, myths, and possibly a new candidate for president of the United States in the next election.
Yeah. Are you kind of surprised that, like, after the last election, that we did both parties, because didn't kind of like
Both parties are to blame for all our
yeah,
problems.
both are, but they wouldn't kind of think this was rock bottom and kind of come up with a plan. So now in November we have two old white guys again.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
kind of.
Well, I know it's yeah. Well, I don't want to make this a political show, but
No,
New York Times. I know. But there are a lot of people that like Trump, and I can't figure it out. I kind of get it, but I think everybody needs to kind of loosen up and see what their landscape looks like in their local communities.
Right.
We need to go back to local. Not like, come on, support your local people. That's what created wealth in the first place. Were people supporting each other in their communities. So what was I saying? Oh, the New York Times last Sunday had a wonderful article about what the Democratic Party kind of pulling together the minds of people to how do we deal with what's the next thing.
Right.
Not so much him, not so much the opponent, but what's good for the American people. How can we move forward from this? And hopefully that will be something that will be positive that comes out of this. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, let's hope. Have you come across working on a production of movie, theater, TV, like an actor who is a Trump supporter? Have you acted differently towards them, or you just
sure?
Yeah.
I don't see him much now.
Okay.
But when they first came, when he was first elected, and now not so much. And I don't think people were so enamored with him as much as they were with the Republican Party and getting Obama out of office.
Right.
And now that he was out of office, they saw what Trump had wrought, and hopefully they'll come to their senses. But yeah, there are plenty of big players in Hollywood who supported Trump. Hollywood's not the big liberal nest that people think it is. There are a lot of people here with a lot of money and a lot of reason and a lot of want to hold on to it.
Right.
And so there are motivating factors there. So it's a, what can I tell them? I mean, I've tried to tell them this is a lie, that's a lie, this is a myth, this is a fact. And people don't necessarily care. I don't get it.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to come up with this program, give everybody an opportunity to, give every generation. There will be 3 representatives from every generation talking about what's important to them.
Right.
What do they want? Can we come together and create what's good for everybody and the future of our country, and not just cycle to cycle? I hope so.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, definitely for sure. But one more. I've taken up a lot of your time today, and I really appreciate it. But I got one more for you.
I enjoyed talking to you, Noel.
Thank you. I guess one fictional president to another. We go from Trump to Harrison Ford, and fantastic, movie. Air Force One of my favorites. Probably one of the best supporting casts I think I've ever seen. It was just great actors, actresses. You had another military role in there. What was your experience like making that movie?
Oh, I had a great time. Loved Glenn.
Yeah.
Had a great time with Glenn. Met Spencer Garrett on that film. Like Spencer a lot. We've been friends ever since.
Okay.
And Gary Oldman, piece of work, man. He's great.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any encounters with
Right.
Harrison. Yeah. We might have lunch or something together, but no. The funny thing is, I was supposed to play the W.H. Macy role.
Okay.
And they couldn't get me for those days. So they offered me this role instead in the Situation Room.
Right.
And there were Situation Room and the plane, two different companies.
Right.
Right. So, but I had a great time. And Gary made up some wonderful improvs, as I did.
Right.
This is like Wolfgang, very funny guy.
Yeah.
That scene was fantastic, wonderful. Now we do it again. We make it fabulous. And he was full of energy, and he goes, "Okay, I need the line here. We got to cover as we move into this other camera move. So I need a little line." So I said, so he was asking everybody. I said, "We're talking about the baseball glove, President's baseball glove. We needed a line about that." I said, "Okay, well, we'll get the President's baseball glove back and play catch with this guy's balls." Oh, that's good. Okay, we'll leave that in there.
Yeah.
And this one thing, he said, "Just keep it sotto voce." So I did. Some people picked up on it, some people didn't.
Right.
And then Gary had one where he asked Glenn over the speakerphone. In one scene, he says, "What kind of blouse are you wearing, Madam Vice President?" And it's silk. And so later on in the scene, things are getting tensed up, and he comes back on the line. He goes, "How's your blouse now, Madam Vice President?" It was brilliant. That was an ad lib, and he was there on the set when he did it. It was funny.
That's great.
It was funny.
That's great. But I love talking to you. This was fantastic. Good luck with your project.
Great.
And
thank you.
Yeah, and everyone, put on your TV now. I'm sure one of Bill's roles are on right now.
Well, God bless you, Noel, and God bless Bridgeport and Trumbull and Stratford and Fairfield and Shelton and Derby and Ansonia and, man, all of them.
Exactly. We hope to see you here real soon.
Courtship.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. All the best.
And a special thanks to Bill for joining me today. Check out his website, billsmitrovich.com, or he's also on Facebook. And if you have a guest suggestion, hit me up on Twitter at @thefirsnoel19, or like the page Living My Youth on Facebook. And this episode can also be found on YouTube. Certain select episodes are being made into video ones. This one, a couple other ones. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. And if you don't have iTunes, not a problem. It shows on SoundCloud. It's also on Podbean. And go to livingmyyouth.threadless.com. T-shirts, hoodies, phone cases, whatever, it's there. A new episode comes out every week. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you then.